Hello, I'm Jeff, and I'm back with another one of my hand-built all-tube guitar amps. This one is 5 watts, it's got a 10-inch speaker, it has an all-tube reverb circuit, tremolo circuit, and it also has a 2-step attenuator to take it from about 5 watts down to 1 watt, and then, I don't know, a third of a watt or so on the lowest setting. The cabinet on this one is handmade out of a piece of solid African mahogany. Nice curved bends on it, give it sort of a retro look, kind of reminiscent of an old radio or something from the 40s. And I think it came out looking pretty nice. As usual, I'll play a little bit for you so you can hear what it sounds like, and then for the nerds, you can stick around afterwards and we'll talk about what's going on inside of this amp. Here's a cleanish sound. This is with the attenuator off. Now let's take the attenuator down to the 1 watt setting and crank the gain up a little bit. Here it is on the low attenuator setting, and we'll crank it up even more. So taking a look at the circuit, this amp uses two 6N2P preamp tubes. Now those are the Russian equivalent of a 12AX7. Those are for the 3 gain stages as well as the tremolo oscillator. The reverb is a 12AT7 and the output tube is an EL84. I usually use 6V6s for the output of my 5 watt amps, but I had some EL84s laying around and I thought I'd give it a try, and I really like the sound. Similar to the amp in the last video that I posted, this one has a tremolo that's taken from a Marshall 18 watt circuit. It's got one triode where half of it is a preamp tube and the other half is the tremolo oscillator, and they share a cathode. I like this tremolo. It works really well. It uses half of a triode less than a Reverb Champ type tremolo, and I think it sounds great. The only minor drawback is that because the tubes share a cathode, it's hard to get the tremolo to stop using just the intensity knob. Turning it all the way down, sometimes depending on the speed, you can still hear it a little bit. So I added a switch on the front that turns the tremolo on and off. You can also plug a foot switch in and do the same thing. The reverb is the same reverb that I always use, transformerless circuit. This one's using a 12AT7. Half the tube drives the reverb tank and the other half recovers it, gets mixed back in, and I think it sounds great. For my purposes, the reverb that I like, this thing works just fine, and it's a lot easier than the Fender version, which would require another half of a triode and a transformer. So as I said, I handmade this cabinet out of a piece of solid African mahogany wood. I used a kerf bending technique to get those nice curves up on the top to give it that retro look. The front is a thin piece of wood, and I used a laser to cut the openings on that. I also used a laser engraver to make the faceplate and the backplate. Overall, I'm really happy with the way this amp came out. I think the cabinet is one of the nicest ones I've made so far, and the circuit really sounds great. I think it's got a lot of versatility and kind of a sound all its own. Alright, thanks for watching. This amp is for sale over on Reverb, so if you're interested, go check it out.